Hey, what's going on? Welcome in. This is the live recording of episode 56 of the Client by Client podcast. My repeat offenders, if you've been here before, drop me some emojis. If this is your first time here, drop me the number 1. Would love to welcome you in and say hello. We'll get going here in a little less than 40 seconds with today's broadcast. And today's episode of the show will be live on let's see here, 30th. This will be on July 1. We'll be rolling into July. It'll be July 3. So that'll be a welcome into July. Let me make sure I have this right. 6:30. This goes to the 3rd. This one goes, yep. I got some other dates wrong. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Today on the podcast, if you're subscribed in Apple Podcasts and Spotify, we talk about how to overcome a dry spell. So if it's been longer than a couple weeks since your last client, I give you some ideas on what to do to go and turn that around. So be sure to search in Apple Podcasts. You can search What Up Jeremy, Jeremy Montoya, or Client by Client, and that'll bring it right to you. Let's hop in and let's bring today's episode to life. Hey, what's up? Jeremy here from whatupjeremy.com, back with another episode of Client by Client. In the last episode, we talked about sales calls, but we got really, really specific. And what we talked about was how to increase the show-up rate. That way you, as you're doing the hard work of booking the call, you give yourself the highest and best chance of them showing up, of them playing full out, and you getting the client. But chances are you're missing one of the 5 tips, or 2 or 3 of the 5 tips that I gave you, for increasing the chances that they actually show up to that sales call. This is going to make your system for leads and conversions tighter. So be sure to backtrack one episode to episode 55 to catch that. In today's episode, we're talking about follow-up. And what I want to do is just give you a couple tips, a couple of reminders for the majority of you for how to really sharpen your and shorten the time it takes from lead to client. And there are really 2 things that happen if you don't get today's episode right. The first thing that happens is that you have leads, but you don't really have any clients. And when that happens, that's frustrating because you start to lose your confidence. You start to question your ability as a coach. If online coaching is the right thing for you, you're going through your inbox and seeing all the successes other coaches and online business owners are having, but that's not you. So you start to lose your confidence. The second thing that happens is that other coaches end up taking your clients. The prospects that you do have, they end up signing up somewhere else. And that's frustrating because you lose out on the opportunity to gain another success story, to be creating case study materials, and the chance to impact someone's life. Because if you care as much as I know you do, chances are those prospects would be in better hands being your client. So those are the 2 things that happen if you don't get today's episode right. Let's now hop in. Let's talk about 4 ways we're going to tighten up and level up your follow-up game. The first thing that you need to do is you have to really look at your time to respond. This is hard to track, but you know in your heart of hearts, if you're on a scale of 1 to 10, how fast you're going. 1 being super slow, 10 being you're in the chat when they're there typing, and when they hit send, your message is marked as read, and they see, like if you're using Facebook Messenger, they see your face, or on Instagram, they see seen, or if they're tracking their emails, they see that you opened it and how many times you opened it. And so there are very few things that are in your control when it comes to life and when it comes to running an online business. And you can't control whether or not people are going to show up to your sales call. You can't determine whether or not people are going to come to the sales call and then become a client. But what you can control is how long it takes you to respond. You can control your responsiveness so that when prospects reach out for a lead magnet, they reach out for an asset, they reach out for a conversation, you're there and can have that conversation quickly with them and stand out amongst the competition. So you can't really control much. This is one of the few things that you can control. You can't control whether your prospects have money or not. You can't control whether your prospects are cool and coachable. You can't control how many of the prospects you have, but with the few you have that are going back and forth with you, that are living and breathing right now, you can control how long it takes for you to get back to them. And a lot of you will get the dopamine drip of getting the lead, but then won't follow through and continue on doing other tasks throughout your day that are not as close to the money as having someone who's warm, but now is starting to trend towards cold every moment that they're just sitting there. I'm talking about being quicker to respond in your DM, in Messenger, in email, to story replies, to comments, to interactions, to emails, and to clients. You can't control much, but you can control how long it takes for you to respond. So dial in what you can control, impact the things that you can, and what you'll notice is that the things that weren't meant for you aren't going to happen, but you're at least preventing situations where you're repelling what you're wanting to have happen, in this case, leads and prospects to be getting back to you, and for them to becoming happy paying clients. Thing number 2, you knew we were going to talk about GetBookedCRM in this. You knew it was going to happen today, happen sooner than later. But a lot of you right now, even if you have a CRM, something where you're managing your pipeline of leads that you're turning into clients, but you don't use it. Many of you have, I talked to you like, well, I have a CRM. It's in Asana. It's in Active Campaign. It's in some sort of software you're using for other things. And if you're serious about getting clients, it needs to be separate. The reason why I specifically want this for it to be separate, your CRM from your ESP, from your email service provider, is because right now you think that your ESP is the main is the main driver of conversations and of leads, when in reality that's a part of it, but you're broadcasting out and you're counting on those people to become paying clients. You need to be broadcasting out and expecting and soliciting replies, and then taking those replies and managing them in your CRM, in your customer relationship management system. And so I recommend having these separate. I don't have a coach or a client that comes off top of my head who uses a CRM or that uses an ESP where it's a tool and it has the CRM in it and they're actively using it, or they're using it well to be landing clients. All of my mentors, all of the coaches I've ever worked with and for, always have a separate CRM. Sometimes it's physical, where on top of the digital tracking, they're also seeing it on a wall and tracking it and managing those things. There's something that happens to your deal flow and your client flow and your lead flow, therefore, when you track it, when you can measure it, when you're managing it, when you're in there every day, multiple times a day, your money game changes. So you absolutely must be tracking your follow-up. If you need to follow up with anyone, and I would dare say with anything, you need to track it. When it comes to your prospects, you need a CRM. It doesn't need to be expensive. It doesn't need to be pretty. It can be a spreadsheet, a piece of paper, or a wall with Post-it notes. It can, if you're there every day and have access to it, unfettered access and unhindered access. You also need to be tracking this in a calendar. What that might mean is putting the exact follow up for the time to go and do it. And then as you get better about this and as you grow and evolve and you need less things telling you what to do, when it specifically comes to making your money, but what that changes to over the mid to long term is just an appointment on your calendar that's follow up. And then eventually it's just pipeline management where you're doing all of these things all together, but you have to get in a little bit of a flow and the kind of the habit of doing this. So if you're not already using a CRM, or your CRM is not separate from your email service provider, I created one for you, and right now it's 100% free. All you have to do is message me the letters CRM over on Instagram to get your free copy now. That's thing number 2. You have to be tracking it, managing it, and measuring it. You should be tracking how many follow-ups you're sending, responses to those follow-ups, so that you can get better about this next part that we're going to talk about, which is thing number 3, and not going off of your script. A lot of you in the early parts of your online coaching journey are romantic about how you communicate with your prospects. Every message to them needs to be unique. Everything needs to be very on brand. It needs to be not scripted, not premeditated or thought out. It needs to be organic, and I just don't get it. When you send a follow-up that works, you should be copying and pasting that for the next similar follow-ups that you're going to be doing. In fact, I would recommend, when you're thinking about your offer and your pipeline, coming up with your follow-up messages and having those on hand to send out when you are ready. That way you don't need to be thinking about it when it comes time to follow up. because you already have enough resistance in your day for you doing these money-making tasks. Let's remove all of the obstacles and barriers. So that means coming up with some follow-up messages, programming them into your Notes app or into your text replacement on your iPhone or on your Mac. And that way you don't have to think about the follow-up. The more you have to sit there and think about what you're going to send with every message to every prospect and every follow-up, the least likelihood that you're going to actually send the thing, the least likelihood that it's going to work because you're going to start getting creative, and then the least likely that you're going to have them respond and get that paying client. Create a script and don't go off of it. Stop being romantic about the messages that you're sending. Send the ones that work, and you'll have far better likelihood of getting the clients, and your bank account and your business will actually change and get to see the results and the fruits of your labor. Thing number 4, we're flying through these. I think I edited episode 49 of the show the other day, and it was 44 minutes before editing. So I think that was the longest one. This might hold the record for the shortest one. We will see. Thing number 4 is wasting messages. A lot of you guys are wasting messages in the back and forth. When you go to follow up, you send something that doesn't elicit a response. And as busy as you want to be seen by your clients and feel with the world, your clients hold that same respect amongst themselves. They're busy. They have lives. They have things going on. They want to be respected and not seen like they're just standing by waiting for a message from you. Even though they might be, especially if you're doing the things that we've been talking about getting them to chase you, they may not want to seem that way, and they want their time respected. So be that person that respects their time and respects them as a person so that you respect their time and it comes through in your messaging. And so many of you guys waste the chance you have sending something dumb. And this starts with the initial messages that you're in the initial conversation context that you need to be following up on. So for instance, if you have a prospect that raises their hand for your checklist, and you're in a conversation with them, and what you need to do is give them directions for where to go and get it. So you acknowledge them that you got their message, that they're wanting this lead magnet, this checklist. You got permission to send it to them in the DM, in the email, in the chat, and you send it to them. That is now closer to a lead than it is a conversation. It's a conversation, but now you're kind of trending towards lead. And if you really want to understand the difference and you don't know the difference between conversations and leads, then it's absolutely imperative that you head back to episode 46 to understand the difference of convos and leads. But you have a convo, and now you're trending towards a lead. The issue for you, you're going to fall in one of two buckets. Either you're following up the day later after you sent the lead magnet, or you're not, and you're still expecting the client. The coach who gets the client is the one that follows up, but the coach who has the highest likelihood of getting that client is the one who knows how to follow up. And the follow-up starts with the last messages that you sent. So for instance, I want to go into my DM with a prospect, and I don't want to see a bunch of messages from me as the last thing there. I would prefer for there to be some conversation going back and forth. So what I'll often do, and what I recommend you do, is that when you give away your lead magnets and you give away these assets, you let them know what to do. Go here now, tap that link, go there now to download yours, and let me know here that you got it so I know you're all good. Sound cool? And then now that sound cool, at worst case, is going to be the last thing in there, but usually they're going to say cool, or they're going to come back and say, I got the lead magnet, thank you so much. This is where you get it wrong, is that when you go to follow up, your inclination is going to be, hey, what'd you think of the lead magnet? Hey, did you get a chance to watch the video? Hey, did you download your copy of GetBookedCRM? And what you're going to find most often is that the overwhelming majority of your prospects, when they get that, they're going to not have done that thing yet. So in that moment, in the sliding doors and the fork of roads, they're either going to not respond to you because they forgot to go and get that thing, and now they kind of forgot why. They're getting cold. Now they're on a date. Now they're doing things with the family. Now they're doing other life things. Now they're at the gym. You're less important to them in that moment. Not that you're less important to them overall, but you're less important to them in that moment, and now there's likelihood they don't go back to your message because life happens. Or they're going to not have seen the thing, and they're going to let you know, hey, I didn't download it yet. Hey, I didn't watch it yet. And so, like, where do you go from there? Stop wasting messages going back and forth. Tell them in that like, go and get that now, and then let's rewind. They request the magnet, and if you want to do this right, what you're going to see is tell them what to do. Go there now and download it, check it out, and then let me know here what stood out to you as most valuable. And then let me know here what you found most interesting. And let me know here what was new or what was more of a reminder for you. They're going to either do that or not, all good. No matter what, 24 hours later, you're going to follow up. And now you are in a spot where you can waste a message or you can enter the conversation going on in their mind. And what I like to do is pop the Dean Jackson 7-word email or the 7-word follow-up. which for me, since I help coaches and I help clients, might be something along the lines of, are you still looking for some more leads? Are you still looking for some more clients? Are you still looking for this thing? If you help moms get their high school bodies back, maybe you say, hey, Sharon, by the way, are you looking to drop 5 pounds before summer? Are you looking to get your body back in shape or closer to in shape as summer is approaching? And then now the lead magnet doesn't matter. The PDF, the checklist, the training, it doesn't matter. You're entering the conversation going on in their mind. And that conversation going on in their mind is they're trying to solve a problem that they're asking for your lead magnet for. And while lead magnets should be good and better than your competitors' paid for stuff, they shouldn't do enough where it solves the entire problem unless it solves it so good that it creates the next problem and you're the obvious solution for it. So these are my 4 tips that I wanted to talk today about follow-up because they're an important aspect. Follow-up game is an important aspect of your game that if you don't get right, it makes it really easy to be doing a lot of activity but not ending up with the clients. In the next episode of Client by Client, we're going to be talking about 5 mistakes, costly mistakes, costing you clients and money every single month. So be sure to come back tomorrow for that. Whenever you are ready, here are a couple ways I can help you grow your online business. First, get your free copy of GetBookedCRM. If you're still managing your leads and pipeline from Instagram DM, from Facebook Messenger, in your email inbox, you're losing leads between the cracks and you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And that's why I created GetBookedCRM. It helps you get leads and turn them into clients in half the time. And right now it's 100% free. All you have to do is find me on Instagram and send me the letters or drop the letters here, CRM, to get your free copy now. Second, join my free group for online coaches. Get around almost 1,000 coaches from all over the world who are just a couple steps ahead of you at the same step you're at, or a small baby step or 2 behind where you're at right now. And all ships rise in a high tide. You get access to them, access to me, and access to weekly trainings to help you grow your online business, along with a couple special bonuses. To get your invitation now, find me on Instagram and send me the word group, or drop the word group wherever you're getting this podcast for your invitation. Lastly, become my next success story. I'm getting a couple coaches together this month to implement my strategies and frameworks for injecting a minimum of $15K worth of new clients into your online business, or doubling your online client roster over the next 30, 60, 90 days. But working with the right people is super important to me. So only respond to this if you are a relationship-focused coach who always puts the person ahead of the money, you've been coaching for at least 1 year, or you're not brand new to online coaching, you would like to get 3 to 5 clients organically every month from social media without wasting money on paid ads, you have at least 300 friends on a social platform, Facebook group, or email list, you're willing to take bold action because you know your success depends upon it, and last but most important, you can keep a secret. If that's you, I want you to grab your phone right now and tap that Instagram icon and search at @WhatUpJeremy. Hit that message button and send me the words case study. When you do that, I'll let you know what we have coming up this month in the Get Clients program. We'll talk about current clients. When you do that, I'll ask you a couple questions, then I'll share with you what we have coming up this month in the Get Clients program, how we're already helping coaches from various niches to crush it with my curriculum, like Juan, who set up to have a 60K month in August, or Henry, who got 8K worth of clients in less than his first month in the program. And we'll also identify which part of the program will likely have the highest impact the soonest in your online business, so you know what to expect. All you have to do is message me the words case study for all the information. That's it for today's episode of Client by Client. Thank you so much for tuning in. See you back with another one tomorrow. Cheers. All right, team, go get them. Use today's tips to go and get your next client. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow.